So welcome to JC Audits. Welcome to JC Audits. This is a live broadcast, absolutely live, unless you're watching it recorded in the live section. This is all going to be about prayer and trying to uplift whoever's listening for their day ahead. So I'm going to pray for you, whoever you are, whoever's listening. We are living in an extraordinary time in history. In fact, we're not living in history, we're living in the present moment. I am speaking because I am alive. You are listening because you are alive and you wish to listen to this, whatever, YouTube live or however you're seeing it or hearing it. So, this live is being spoken by myself, JC Audits, and being listened to by yourselves. Now, I could be outside, but that would be silly because it's cold and I'm not in the mood to go out. I could be filming various things outside right now, but I'm not. The fact of the matter is, you need to get outside, probably at some point during the day, and if not, somebody needs to come to you. Am I right or am I wrong? Do you have enough supplies at home? If you don't, then you need to go out or get deliveries in. For those that do go out on a regular basis, you might be going out to work. So whether this is working, going street to street, whether it's going into the neighbouring field, or whether it's going directly to an office or site, you could be travelling from site to site, address to address, either locally or nationally or internationally. If you're travelling internationally, you might be taking a ferry or you might be going through the Channel Tunnel. Alternatively, you might be taking flights through major airports in the UK, such as Birmingham International, East Midlands Airport, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Liverpool, Gatwick, Heathrow, Bournemouth, Stansted, Luton. Those are the major airports in the UK. I don't think I've left many out there. I've included a few local airports as well. So you'd be flying, or you'd be driving and then flying, or you'd be walking to coaches that also will be able to take you through the Channel Tunnel, or you'd be going via taxi or Uber to the local, whether it's bus stop, train station, could also be directly to an airport. Then you might travel then internationally to whatever destination you're going to. You'd get on the local transport, or you'd walk to your final destination, and then you'd start working, or, God forbid, you might be on holiday. So if you're on holiday, you're spending money either accrued through interest, pension, wages, so being saved up, gifts, or, dare I say it, other means. So you've got this money and you're spending it, using it for accommodation in the foreign country, and then you find out that something has happened back home. These things happen, don't worry. So you need to get back home. So how are you going to get back home? You don't have the tickets. You'd have to buy them off the cuff. So what will you do? Well, if you'd have a smartphone, you'd reach for the smartphone, most people do. But you might not have data, because at the end of the day you've got a local network usually, and you might not have roaming. But if you, like a lot of people, have roaming, then you go on the internet on your phone, or locally at an internet cafe, or maybe at the hotel, and you'd give a few websites a visit and book your plane, train, or whatever it is back to Albion, back to Blighty. And then from there, you'd do what needed to be done. You'd either visit whoever it was in hospital, or you'd go back home and attend to whatever emergency you needed to attend to. And then after that, you'd consider going back for a moment, but you'd also consider the choices that you made in your life. You'd reevaluate, and you'd think, wow, was it really necessary that I went out over the Channel, or the Irish Sea, or whatever, the North Sea, out of this country? Was it really necessary? Lots of people are travelling, lots, whether it's locally, nationally, or internationally, and you got to ask the question, why travel? Now, millions of years ago, early humans were travelling around. Now, these would have been Homo erectus predominantly, but you've also got the hominoids, bipedal like humans, the great ape family, also doing a bit of travelling from here to there. But they wouldn't travel internationally. They wouldn't jump on a plane, because there were no planes back then, despite those online who are claiming otherwise. Move forward a bit to hundreds of thousands of years ago. You've got erectus established. You've got the odd other human species knocking around. These bands of hunter-gathering humans would still go around and travel from area to area, but they would not jump on a plane and go somewhere. The situation we have in this country now is effectively we've got Homo erectus, Neanderthals, and other human species arriving at our airports, on our borders, via dinghies, on our ports, speaking languages we ill understand, and asking for refuge. How much can this country take? Well, we can take what we can take, and the rest will have to go away. Now, the procedures will have to be followed. There's Home Office procedures that have been in place for many, many years. The small print may change, but definition of asylum and refugee status is well documented over many decades, and those definitions are unlikely to change. I've spoken to JC Audits, and he's agreed with me. So this is what's the problem in this country, is that people expect things to change and people to stop travelling. Well, I can tell you that people are not going to stop travelling. They're still going to travel. Whatever wars there are in the UK, well, there's none, is there? Quite. That's why people jump on the planes and the boats, dinghies, on the trucks, and stow away in the luggage reef trucks, containers of cars on the ports, and come in. This is a fact of modern day life, and it's not going to go away, however much you wish it. So, we're resigned to the fact that if you've got the sixth richest economy in the world, as we do in the UK, then you're bound to have an influx of immigrants coming into the country wishing to live as we do. This is a fact of modern day life, and any wishing otherwise is just complete insanity, and people just want to wish it all away when they're struggling with the costs of living and struggling with the care costs of their parents, or even their own ill health and disabilities. They want to set the world to rights. They want it to all change for the better for their grandchildren. Well, here's the deal. I don't think you can wish it all away. It is what it is, my friends, and that's that. There's little you can do to change the fact that humans in other countries are free to travel, free to buy their own tickets, and free to work the system if they wish to. And at the end of the day, either they've got refugee status or they don't. And these folks who come in illegally, they will get jobs. That is just a fact of life when you're not policing things in absolute tyranny, which we don't want to live in, then you're bound to get some kind of illegal immigrants in the country, doing jobs, doing other things, God knows what. That's just a fact of life, and it's been going on for thousands of years. Sure, if you've been living on the south coast 200,000 years, 2,000 years ago in Sussex or whatever, you still would have had invaders coming in from France on boats and whatnot, causing havoc. You've had Vikings off the coast of East Anglia coming in, putting people to the sword, raping people, committing absolute atrocities much worse than the benefit and middle class could even imagine today. Absolute hell on earth, burning villages to the ground, eviscerating people, babies on the street, dashing their brains out. All this went on, and now, in this cosseted, we'll do everything for you environment, whether it's Labour, Conservative, or Liberal Democrat, whatever your persuasion, monster raving, loony, I don't know what you vote for. But the fact of the matter is, we're not used to this in Albion, in the UK. We're not used to this. Well, maybe in Belfast you've got an understanding of what it's like to live in a violent society, but apart from that, only in distant memory, in the collective unconscious, do you have any sense of what the horrors of war is truly like. I can tell you, war is very, very tough indeed. And the people of Gaza know this only too well. And a lot of them have been killed. And that is a fact. And I'm going to hand it over to JC Audits, who's going to carry on this broadcast. JC?